Hi, my name is Dustin Weiss. Thank you so much for tuning in for part one of Scar Shaper. I know there's going to be a lot of great content that you're going to be able to learn and listen to, so sit back, relax, and be engaged. Think about it. What are some scars that you've endured throughout your life? We know, as a burn survivor, and as you being one as well, we all know that we've suffered with some type of burns. We know that we have burns, whether it's physical or hidden or visible. We know that we all have that one thing. Well, there's other people throughout the nation who have scars as well. There are more scars than just burns. There's emotional scars, there's physical scars, there's mental scars, there's the scars of rejection, the scars of abuse, the scars of abandonment, the scars of frustration. There's a lot of things that can be kind of segue into the term scars. I know we might only think of a scar as something that people can see, as a tangible thing, but you know, I was just on a plane from California, and I looked at the people around me, and I kind of just thought, wow, I wonder what they've been through. I wonder what they've endured throughout life. I wonder what scars that they have that are not necessarily visible. When I'm in Walmart or in Target and I'm going through the checkout line, as I look at the cashier, I often just think, what does her life look like outside of that position? What is she dealing with at home? What's going on in her life? When we think of a scar, it's not only something that we can see, but we know that there's a lot of things in life that happen to us that kind of can correlate to a scar, and somewhat it can almost be defining to us. So, for just a few minutes today, I'm going to talk to you about what it looks like to have scars and how that shapes us to who we are today, how what we've endured yesterday kind of allows us to be who we are, think the way we think, act the way we act, and kind of have the perception that we have. So just take a second. What are some of your scars outside of your physical scars? Think about that for a second. What are some of the things that you kind of deal with when you're at home, when you're all by yourself? When you're at school? In your family? What are some of the things that you kind of struggle with that no one else knows about, that can kind of be perceived as a scar? How is it shaping you? Is it bringing you down? Is it bringing you up? Is it bringing you in a place of depression? Where is it taking you? Where are you allowing that scar to take you? Every scar has a story. There is not one scar that one has without a story. You know, think about being a kid riding a tricycle or a bicycle when you fall. And when you fall, you get a scar, correct? Well, that scar is attached to you falling. I remember growing up, we had a go-kart, and we had two of them. There was a two-seater and then also the one-seater. I remember being in the two-seater one, and we were coming down this hill, and my brother that was driving it, we were going so fast. And he made a quick turn to the left, and I fell out, and I tumbled down, doom to doom to doom to doom, and I scarred my entire leg. Well, man, we had so much fun coming down that hill. I remember him turning left. I remember falling out, and I remember rolling and scraping my leg. But the cool thing is that there was a story that was attached to that, and that scar allowed me. The scar is no longer there now, but when it was there, all I could think about is the story in which we were coming down the hill in the go-kart. He turned left quickly, threw me out, and then I tumbled. You see, there's not one scar that we've endured that does not have a story attached to it. Not one person is exempt from a scar. And you know, I would almost include that to be a battle scar. It's kind of like I tested and I went down the biggest hill and I fell out and said, yeah, now I'm tough. I'm the big guy. Will I do that again? Probably not. But that was almost a battle scar. You know, not one person in life is exempt from any type of scar. The more life that one lives, the more they're more prone to have more types of scars. So yeah, just think about that for a little bit. The older you get, the more scars you have, the more scars you'll run into, and the more things that life would just come and just challenge you throughout that segment. Scars should not define us. Scars should not be the defining factor of who we are. But we should allow those scars to shape us into the person that we can become. So I want to kind of break down the word shape for you. S will stand for the situations that we encounter. So whether it's the burn injury, whether it's your home life, whether it's rejection, whether it's, you asked this girl out and she said no because of your scars, whether you have physical scars and you're thinking, man, I'll never get married, no one's ever gonna like me, I'm never gonna find a job. That S signifies different situations that you encounter. H stands for your heart, your passion, the things that you love and or the things that you hate. When I was burned, I was cooking on the stove, and for a short period of time, I hated going through a segue of our house because it was where the oven was, the stove was. So I hated the stove for a period of time. And then on the flip side, I absolutely love the burn community because I found a sense of belonging and of purpose. So that H kind of signifies your heart. The situation that you went through correlates with what your heart feels about the matter. The A can stand for your abilities, your talents. There's different things and different abilities that each of us have that typically correlate with a scar that we can encounter. The P can stand for perception, the way that you think of things, the way that you think of others, the way that others think of you. So that also kind of grows your perception. The E talks about the experiences that one will endure in an encounter. A lot of the burn survivors that I know have had multiple surgeries. So you've had a lot of experiences. You've missed a lot of school. You've been through a whole lot of things. Well, you have experiences that no other survivor, you have different experiences that no one else can relate with. That makes you who you are. The R is relatable. When you go through some type of scars, you're relatable. People, once they get to know your story and they know that, wow, you have some area that you suffered with, or once you connect on a different level. One thing that I love about burn camps is that not only do we get a chance to connect in the area of burn and knowing what we all went through, but we get to kind of talk about life and what that looks like, and other things that we're struggling with at home. So you're able to connect and relate on a completely different level. When I was in Bible college, I went to Bible college here in Tulsa, and one of the funny things that I just can't stop thinking about now as I think about relatability is majority of my classmates, I felt as if they weren't always relatable. Sometimes I would say, hey, how are you doing? Well, glory to God, I'm doing great. Hallelujah. And I was like, okay, good. Bless you, brother. Bless you. Okay, bless you too. No, but how are you really doing? Sometimes when people are so caught up in a facade that nothing's going wrong in their life, they lose that relatability. Do know that with your scar, you can relate at a deeper level, at a different level, due to your scar bravery, your battle scar. You have something that other people might not be able to relate to. However, everyone can relate to pain, and you can always talk through that. So, shaper. That's what I just went through. The SHAPER. Whatever it is, whatever scar that you've endured, it shapes you into the person that you are through the situations, your heart, your perception, your experiences, and also the relatability. When I was 15 years old, I was cooking on the stove, and my shirt caught on fire, and I sustained third-degree burns and hidden parts of my body. And it was a very, very, very bad experience for me. I spent some time in the local burn center in Sherman, California, and then I had a real cool opportunity to go to Champ Camp in Northern California, in which I met some of my best friends to this day. We were campers together. Champ Camp was an amazing place for me. I remember getting off the plane and going to the bus and then going to the campsite. And from the campsite, my very first time interacting with other survivors who had disfiguring scars, missing arms, missing fingers, and just the other different type of disfirmities. And at that point, I knew that, man, the burn community is a community that I really want to be a part of. It's something that I want to be attached to. You see, my burn allowed me to get to that camp, and that camp really opened my eyes to the burn community. And then after that, I stayed very involved in the burn community. My senior project in high school, I actually did a project at the Sherman Oaks, the Grossman Burn Center, and I did it on the constructive benefits of volunteering, and I worked with the burn center very closely, and I knew that that was something that I wanted to do, and then I also helped with a few of their programs. And then after that was done, when I moved to Oklahoma, went to Bible college, and I went to Oral Roberts University, and I was able to help form a project with some classmates, and it was a burn conference. But wow, my experience shaped me to not only learn more about myself throughout that process, but also impact and help and serve and help out the burn community on a whole. So think about it. The scars that one experiences is not necessarily a bad thing, but when they are used to shape you to be a person for a better good, to serve other people, that's when you can truly say that I went through this, but this. So put a but in between that scar, whatever you've experienced or whatever you're going through right now. Life might really suck right now. You might say, wow, this scar or this pain or this pressure or whatever I'm going through really sucks right now, or it's hurt, it's painful, I don't know what to do. Well, just think through it through another lens. What can you do differently? Or how can you think about when you get out of this, you can help someone else? So do know that whatever it is, whatever the scar is, it can truly be shaped to not only help you, but also help those around you. Do not let your scar define you. One of the things when I was going through my injury, I used to run track for a long time, but I stopped running for a little bit because my shirt was, I had to run track and I had to wear a tank top. And my scars are hidden scars, so you can't see them unless my track jersey is showing. Well, after my injury, I worked for the first time, and in the locker room, someone had called me a burnt biscuit. And that was really devastating to me. And for a long period of time, I refused to run track. Well, I got a letter from the doctor, and the school allowed me to run track, and they allowed me to compete in track meets if I wore a t-shirt underneath my jersey. So at all my track meets, I had a written letter from the doctor, and they allowed me to compete with a t-shirt underneath my track jersey. And I was the only one on the field who kind of had a special exception. Well, our school had did so well that we had made it to the semifinals, and we were getting ready to go up, and I'll never forget it. It was a 4x4, and I was the anchor, and everyone was getting ready to go on the field. First leg had gone, second leg had gone, and I was getting ready to get to my post, putting everything on, getting ready, and the referee was like, hold on, no, you can't go out there. And my coach was like, why? You know, what's going on? Well, he has a shirt on. Well, I had 60 seconds to make a decision, and that decision was A, I go out there without the t-shirt, or B, I don't go out there and I don't run at all. And our team had worked all year long, we put our very best, and we were getting ready to potentially, you know, take a very high ranking in this competition. So I did what every good team member possibly would consider doing, and that was I took my shirt off for the very first time after being called that statement, and I put on my jersey, and I took the baton, and I ran that 400-meter dash like I couldn't even remember. I remember coming across the finish line like completely worn out, like I was gonna die, but it was over. I learned a lot about myself through that moment, and I was put under some pressure. And I was put under a unique experience, an opportunity in which I had one or two decisions to make immediately. And I'm glad that I made that decision because it was a freeing decision for me. So that experience, that scar, that was a scar of rejection. That was a scar of insecurity. I was very insecure about showing my scars to anyone else. But under that pressure, I was able to find some freedom and some help. I have a quote that I want you to consider, and it is, don't give people the right to define you through your scars. Let your scar define you to people. I'll say it again. Don't let people have the right to define you through your scar. Let your scar define you to people. When the individual in the locker room called me a burnt biscuit, he was defining me through my scar. What I failed to do is allow my scar to define him and to everyone else. But once I took off that t-shirt, I then allowed my scars to define who I was, my courageousness, my inner strength, who I thought I could be, and my team members. They were like, wow, Dustin, you really did that. Thank you so much. So whenever someone's trying to define you through what you look like or through your scar, you know what you need to do? Dab on them. Okay? Just dab on them. All right? Never forget that. Know that your scars are meant to be a symbol of bravery. You have really endured a lot, and you probably still are enduring a lot. But do know that it is going to shape you to be the very best you that you can ever be. Thank you so much for listening to part 1 of Scar Shaper. Soon, part 2 will be released, and part 2 is entitled Uncovering the Surface. It's going to be a great message. I really put a lot of thought into it. You know, through the scars that we experience, there's also some things that are beneath there. So how do you uncover the surface to really deal with the inner hurts that sometimes might be deeply rooted from the scar that you went through? Tune back, come back in. You know when it's being launched, and we look forward to seeing you then.